Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you with another deck profile, and for today's video we'll be doing an updated hero list. Now, as is always the case with my personal hero deck profiles, I tend to keep it at 40 cards always, just because I enjoy doing hero things as consistently as possible. Which I know isn't very much like the norm, especially compared to most deck profiles these days, where you'll see people play 43 to 46 cards, or even on like the rare occasions go all the way up to like 55 to 60 cards, just because they want to include as many hand traps as possible, which, I mean, it's perfectly fine to play that way. I've never really been a fan of having 10 to 15 hand traps in a deck, especially like heroes, where I feel um, it doesn't really mesh very well with the playstyle, right? This has always been like more of a balls to the wall type of strategy where you want to put everything onto the board and then just OTK your opponent instead of trying to play like this long drawn out game. But if you want to play with like all those hand traps, by all means go for it, right? Like there's no one correct way to play this deck. But with that out of the way, I guess it's safe to finally just jump right into it. As always, we'll be starting off with the monster lineup first, and the first card we're going to be talking about is Elemental Hero Stratos, which we will be playing at 2. As on normal or special summon, it allows us to search our deck for any hero monster, including itself, or destroy spells and traps in the field equal to the number of other face-up hero monsters we control. So, it's just a very phenomenal card that provides us the 2 very solid effects, but you don't really need to play 3 of it just because 2 basically gets the job done every single time, if I'm being honest. And the third one just ends up, I don't want to say bricking, but it doesn't really allow us to advance our game plan as much as you might think. So yeah, 2 Stratos, perfectly fine. And then for the other elemental heroes, we're playing 1 elemental hero Shadow Mist, who on special summon allows us to search our deck for any change quick play, or I guess, and on top of that, when it goes to the graveyard, allows us to search our deck for any hero monster. So basically, it's just like another great consistency piece that sometimes gives us access to cards like Master Hero Darklaw. Then we're playing the 1 elemental hero Neos to be able to access our Flame Wingman fusions, 1 elemental hero Liquid Soldier, which has 2 pretty solid effects, both in the it's able to draw 2, discard 1 when it's used as fusion material for the fusion summon of a hero card, and when it's normal summon is able to reborn any level 4 or lower hero monster from the grave. And if I'm being honest, I tend to use the normal summon effect more than I use the draw 2 discard 1 effect, just because it lets us do things like have a 1 card Darklaw play through the use of cards like Fusion Destiny, as well as potentially play through devastating hand traps like Draw Lockbird, as it gives us 2 level 4s on the field instantly to be able to go into something like number 41 Baguska, which we are going to be playing. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed the card, but if I'm being honest, once the new Master Hero support comes out, it's probably going to be one of the few cards that are immediately on the chopping block when I'm working with the ratios. And then for the final elemental hero monster, we're playing 1 elemental hero Blazeman, who on normal or special summon is able to search our deck for a polymerization. We do not talk about the send effect because that effect is horrible, as it basically just limits us to special summoning fusion monsters, which is not ideal in a deck like this that has so many special summons that aren't fusions. But yeah, this is just great as like a backup for when our opponent knows what our deck does and intends to negate like the Vision Hero Vyon in order to try and cut off access to cards like Polymerization, which are pretty pivotal just for like the overall strategy to function. So yeah, I really enjoy 1 Blazeman in the list as well. And that's it for the E heroes. And then for the Destiny Hero monsters, we're playing 3 Destiny Hero Malicious and 1 Destiny Hero Denier, which basically acts as copies 4 and 5 of Malicious, right? So these are the ones that allow us to go into cards like Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, as well as just basically provide us with the ample fodder needed to be able to go into whatever Link, Fusion, or even potentially Destiny Hero Plasma play that we may seek out in the future. And then speaking of Plasma, we're playing the 1 Destiny Hero Plasma as well, which, I mean, obviously it's a very strong card, and it can straight up just auto win you certain matchups, especially against decks like Yummy, for example, but I don't really know how to feel about it, honestly, because I feel like if it's not paired with cards like Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, it's just mediocre. But and not that it's bad, not mediocre because of its effect being like pointless, but more mediocre because it's easily run overable by so many different cards and outed by so many different cards as well. But it's still very much needed for now. But once the new Master Hero support comes out once again, this is also going to be one of the few cards that are immediately going to be on the potential chopping block, much like Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. That's it for the D heroes though. And then for the Vision heroes, we're playing 2 Vision Hero Vyon, which admittedly, even though you typically want to summon this card off of like Faris and Increase, is probably the best normal summon in the deck, right? As on normal or special summon, you're able to send any hero monster from your deck to the graveyard. in order to basically search your deck for whatever, because what you're typically going to be sending off of this is something like Destiny Hero Malicious, just to be able to start getting fodder on the field, or something like Elemental Hero Shadow Mist to be able to search out any monster. And then more important than that, this is also one of the cards that gives us access to Polymerization whenever we want it, as all we have to do is banish a hero monster in the graveyard and search our deck for a poly. So yeah, this card, it helps the deck out so much. And then for the other Vision Heroes, we're just playing the one Vision Hero Faris and the one Vision Hero Increase, which, I mean, obviously they're really helpful when you don't end up drawing the one of Increase, but because it literally just gives you free access to your Vision Hero Vyon basically immediately. And then in the form of like Faris, it gives you access to be able to discard cards that you typically don't want to draw in your hand, like the Destiny Hero Malicious or the Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. But I guess the saying for these cards go is like, it's better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them, because there are going to be ample situations where you're going to be wishing that you played these cards just to be able to get access to Vyon whenever you want. And I don't know, it's like a love-hate relationship, right? Like, we hate Increase, but we love Increase at the same time, if that makes sense. That's it for the Vision Hero stuff, though. And then for the Evil Hero engine, which we always keep extremely small because I'm just not the biggest fan of it, as I feel it's average at best. We're playing the one Evil Hero Adusted Gold to be able to search out our Evil Hero spells. One Evil Hero Dead End Prison, which, I mean, its effect is really solid as well, right? Because it's a Foolish Burial for cost. So even if they have like a Veiler or an Imperm, it doesn't really matter. And if for whatever reason that effect resolves, it essentially turns into King of the Swamp, which does matter a little bit, not a lot, but like it can come up. But like I said, this is basically just here as like Foolish Burial. And then for the final one, we're playing one Evil Hero Viscious Clause, which just adds like another layer of interaction to the field, as if our opponent decides to destroy our hero monsters by battle or card effect, this card can come back and then pop one of their cards. And it also becomes like an extender too, right? As if we have a face-up hero monster, we can just special summon this card from the hand and then boost that monster by 300 attack. So, you know, pretty solid card, but we basically only care about the graveyard effect most of the time. And then finally, for the final monster that we're going to be playing, which isn't a hero monster, we're playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which is literally just in here to be able to potentially stop the Mulch armies, because Fulos and Perulia definitely hurt. So anything to be able to stop those cards is going to be greatly appreciated. And with that, that's the monster lineup, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion of the list. Now that we're on the spell and trap portion of the video, we'll be starting off with a Hero Liz, which we are of course going to be playing at 3, as it is the premier starter in the deck, right? You just pay half your life points, which in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't matter, and then you get to special summon any level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck. So you could just summon out your elemental hero Stratos to be able to search any hero monster. You can summon out elemental hero Shadow Mist to search out a change quick play. And if your hand is already broken enough, you can even make it an argument to be able to summon out cards like Elemental Hero Blazeman or Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. But point is, this card, just by activating and resolving, basically allows you to do whatever you want. And on top of that, it's also prime hand trap bait, as if your opponent has an Ash Blossom and they're not very good at the game, they tend to Ash Blossom this, and then instead of something that's actually like pivotal for the deck. Because even though this card is obviously phenomenal, we absolutely do not need it to be able to win the game. It's definitely more there just to make it easier on us, right? But yeah, 3 Hero Lives, gotta play it. Then to accompany our 3 Hero Lives, we're going to be playing 3 Fusion Destiny, which, while it is obviously a phenomenal card that just gives us access to a 1-card DPE or the 1-card Dark Law, it does tend to limit the types of plays that we can make dramatically, as when it resolves, it locks us into Dark Hero monsters for the rest of the turn, unfortunately. And in a deck like this that just plays so many different attributes that want to be special summoned that don't happen to be dark, sometimes they can definitely make or break the game. So if you are planning on using Fusion Destiny, you pretty much want to do it after you've exhausted all your other resources, and you're for sure basically know that you're not going to be going into anything else, right? So while obviously it's a very powerful card, you just have to be a little bit more on the careful side when using it. And then to accompany our 3 Fusion Destiny, we're playing 3 Forbidden Droplet, as it's probably the best card whenever you're going second, that just allows us to break whatever board we may be facing as consistently as possible. And it does that by allowing us to send cards from our hand or side of the field to the graveyard in order to negate the effects of monsters that our opponent controls. And then it halves their attack as well, because why not? So as if that wasn't already good enough, the secondary the secondary benefit that we get from cards like Forbidden Droplet is that it allows us to essentially fill up the graveyard with cards that we typically don't really want to see in our hand, right? Like our Destiny Hero Denier, like our Destiny Hero Malicious, like our Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, like our Evil Hero Viscious Claws, and then be able to take advantage of the graveyard effects, which when you pair that with the monster negation, it goes a long way just helping us win the game more easily. And that's it for the 3 ofs. And then for the 2 ofs, we're playing 2 Polymerization because this card is it's too important to not play at 1. And it's definitely one of those cards that you just want to see as often as possible, but you don't want to play it at 3 because then you run the risk of breaking on it, as you don't really have the necessary materials to actually use it, right? And by playing 2, that means that we can get a little bit more flexible with cards like our Extra Hero Wonder Driver, as well as you're not entirely reliant on that one card resetting the 1 poly just to be able to continue to play the game. And it's very, very easy to go in through multiple copies per turn, right? Which is the main reason why we play cards like Extra Hero Wonder Driver. So the second one just helps out so much. And then to go with our 2 polys, we're playing 2 Mass Change as well, because Darklaw is an extremely powerful card. And if you're going first, this is obviously one of those cards that you want to see to be able to set it up to potentially win the game right on the spot. And my general philosophy with cards like Mass Change is that game 1, it's perfectly fine to play 2 because you never really know who's going first and who's going second, right? But for games 2 and 3, once you for sure know, you can side them appropriately, right? So if you're going second, you take 1 out to be able to fit in like another side deck card. And then if you're going first and the matchup just is extremely favorable for Darklaw, you put all 3 in. And even if you get hand trapped to like Oblivion, as long as you can open up one of your Mass Changes plus like Dark Hero Monster, you're still going to be sitting pretty. So yeah, Mass Change, played that too. And that's it for the 2 ofs. And then for the 1 ofs, we're playing the 1 Miracle Fusion, which is typically what we're going to be searching off of our Elemental Hero Sunrise. Only 1 Evil Assault, and this is going to be the only card that we're playing that goes with the Evil Hero engine when it comes to these spells and traps in the main deck. As, like I said earlier, I don't want to put too much focus on the Evil Hero engine itself. I'd much rather just use it to enhance the already solid aspects of like the Elemental Heroes and the D Heroes. And this card is probably the best to do it, right? It gives us a free discard, and then we get to special summon something such as Evil Hero. It's basically just always going to be special summoning out Evil Hero Dead in Prison, because it's a Foolish Burial to be able to just set up our graveyard plays. But yeah, you know, like it's more than enough. I don't feel like you need the second one, especially because similarly to like the Vision Hero engine, while they obviously help out a lot, it's very much not needed to be able to win the game. And it's extremely easily searchable, right? As all we have to do is add a Adusted Gold to our hand through cards like Elemental Hero Stratos, Cross Crusader, Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, whatever. And then we have like the free Foolish after that as well. So yeah, 1 Evil Assault, perfectly fine. And then we're also playing 1 Foolish Burial, which is basically the same as Evil Assault. It just, we don't have to discard anything. And this is basically the superior form to cards like Emergency Call and Reinforcement of the Army currently, as it essentially just does the exact same things, but we don't have to add to our hand. So if we hit by something like Droll and Lockbird, we can still play through that a little bit at least. Then we have 1 Call by the Grave to be able to stop any potential detrimental hand traps, and 1 Triple Tactics Talent to be able to punish our opponent for using monster effects on us. And that's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we're just having the 1 Favorite Contact, which is what you're typically going to be adding off of your Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. And it's going to lead to you summoning out Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman on the opponent's turn to basically just blow up their board. And with that, that's the spell and trap lineup. And as far as like the main deck goes, should be 40 cards like always, and then we can finally move on to the extra deck. Now that we're finally on the extra deck portion of the video, we'll be starting off with the 1 Exceed monster we're playing, being the number 41 Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir. As this is literally just there as our break in case of emergency type of card, where we just get bombarded by way too many hand traps, or even if it's not like too many, sometimes you're just getting demolished by something like a singular Dimension Shifter or a singular Droll and Lockbird, that you pretty much have no choice but to make this card. And hopefully it's going to be able to buy you like another turn or two. That's not always going to be the case, but it's better to have that little sliver of hope than to have no hope at all. Then that's it for the Exceeds. And then for the links, we're playing the 1 Extra Hero Wonder Driver to be able to reset our fusion spells from the graveyard, 1 Extra Hero Infernal Devicer to be able to search out our Elemental Hero Neos, and then lastly 2 Extra Hero Cross Crusaders, which are able to bring back our Destiny Hero monsters, and then also tribute D Hero monsters to search our deck for any hero monster. So just like another great consistency piece that we have access to from our extra deck. Then that's it for the links. And then for the fusions, we're going to be starting it off with our 1 Guardian Chimera, which is something that I love to play whenever I have more than 1 Polymerization in the deck, as like I've always said in the past, it constantly catches people off guard, and because we're going to be hard summoning it through the use of Polymerization, that means that they're not going to be able to target it with cards like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence, so it's going to be destroying cards on their side of the field while we amass advantage on our side of the field because we're drawing and popping. However, once the new Elemental Hero Thunder Giant Retrain comes out, this card is obviously going to be instantly replaced by that. So if you want to enjoy this card, it basically has to be now, because once Thunder Giant comes out, this card is gone. That's it for those. And then for the Masked Heroes, though, we're playing 2 Masked Hero Darklaw's to take advantage of our 2 Masked changes. And obviously, Darklaw's a phenomenal card, right? A one-sided Macrocosmos, it's silly. Let's be real. Then for the other hero fusions, we're playing 1 Destiny Hero Dangerous for the 1 card Darklaw play, 1 Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer for just like the strongest like generic end board pop that we could have, right? As it's a quick play pop during your turn and your opponent's turn. When it's destroyed, it comes back during the next standby phase, and it doesn't even have to reborn itself. It just reborns any D hero monster. So if it gets by like a Bestial or DD Crow, you can still bring back cards like Denier or Destiny Hero Malicious. Then that's it for the D heroes, and then we just have a couple of Elemental Hero fusions to round out the deck list, being the 1 Elemental Hero Escuridao, which as long as I'm playing Fusion Destiny, I'm going to be playing Escuridao because it's the card that basically allows us to OTK even through the dark restriction. 1 Elemental Hero Sunrise, which just takes any 2 hero monsters with different attributes and then allows us to search out our Miracle Fusions. It boosts all our heroes for every different attribute we control by 200 attack, and it's also able to pop cards in another hero monster battle. So just a great card. And then after that, we're going to be playing 1 Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, who on Fusion Summon is able to search our deck for any of our favorite cards, which in this list specifically is basically only going to be the favorite contact, but that's still more than enough in most situations. And if you happen to use Elemental Hero Neos, for example, to Fusion Summon it, you can tribute this card to be able to summon out a level 7 or lower hero monster from your deck or extra deck that cannot be normal summoned or set. So you just summon your Flame Wingman, and then you bring out your Elemental Hero Sunrise to search out Miracle Fusion for free. So yeah, pretty neat card. We're playing the 1 Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, which is made through Neos and Flame Wingman, and it basically just pops cards on the field equal to the number of different attributes on the field, yours and your opponent's. So it can get pretty up there with the amount of pops, but typically at minimum it's going to be doing 1 to 2, and on a very good day it can basically just do up to 6, maybe even 7 if you're playing someone with an Egyptian god for who knows what reason, right? Those pesky divine attributes. And then lastly, we're playing the 1 Wake Up Here Elemental Hero, which is basically just there as like a finisher card for the mid to late game where all of your resources are in the graveyard. So you just activate Miracle Fusion, bring this guy out, and then he'll attack all your opponent's monsters and burn them and just have like a million attacks. So yeah, that basically helps us round out the deck. And with that, that's the hero profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!